Company holiday parties.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Why'd you get in trouble at yours?
Well, now I'm thinking, I'm like, did I? Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten like. I think I've gotten drunker at holiday parties that I ended up quasi crashing.
Just walking into
free booze, no responsibility.
Right,
like,
that's fair.
You guys have been downtown. Like Mayflower has their holiday party, and then they
Oh,
start,
yeah.
You
walk in and like speed.
Drew slapped me in the face one day.
Oh,
yeah.
And he was kind of like that, like Italian, like yay, but he was a little harder. I was like, oh man, okay. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but ow, a little bit.
Here's your Merry Christmas slap.
Yeah.
This is my first beer. I feel stiff.
I know.
Yeah. I'm not up to you guys yet.
I want to give Christmas slaps.
Oh my god, it would be the best thing.
Like
Do
Merry
it.
Christmas.
You're just gonna wear like a sparkly Christmas glove.
No, you know what I want? Hold on. This is what we're going to make happen.
Okay.
They actually make these little things you put in the middle of your palms that shoot out confetti, like when you high-five somebody. So when I slap somebody, confetti just fucking pellets
I
out.
want one of those.
I bought one for my friend Darren for his birthday a few years
Is it
ago.
reusable?
They are reusable. They come like little cartridges that you just put back in the thing.
I want that all the time.
Okay, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Just because, like, we constantly do, like, whenever we do, like, painting events, people are like, is there a prize? They'll be like, high five?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
It'll be awesome.
And they'll be like, oh, but then they don't.
And then the rest, and the restaurant will be like, what the fuck, man?
It's not like glitter confetti. It's like the little paper string, so it's easier to clean up.
You think that. Sometimes that's just as hard.
Yeah,
It's a little
that's
wet concrete.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But you know what it is? It's something that you shouldn't have to clean up.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the...
Well, part of the high five now is that in midair they have to catch all the paper as it falls down.
Yeah.
Most frantic high five ever.
They'd be like, what do I win? High five. Oh, and a clean up.
And you gotta clean it up. That sounds like my kind of Christmas.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. Oh no, I almost like mixed
What
my
happened?
intro. That was like the old colony.
Oh man.
I want to
Bar Podcast.
I know. I was like, what happened?
The Bar Talk Podcast is not about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas.
It can be.
No.
I mean,
It can be.
yeah. So I'm here. I'm Andy. God damn it.
Wow.
He needs more Diet Coke.
I know, right?
Yeah, I know.
Put some
It is.
Coke in
You
that
might
Diet Coke.
Regular Coke.
I'm
Cocaine
here
or soda, you
with
decide.
Jess Hamill.
Hello.
Of New World Tavern.
What up?
Dan Mahoney of Stats.
So,
And tis the fucking season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tizzin', all right.
Is what it is. So it's like 2 weeks away. Is it really just 2 weeks away?
Yeah. It's like 2.5.
Before Christmas, how was Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah,
Day
that's
for you
right.
guys?
Yeah.
I got a lovely text from Mahoney, and he said he's like, welfare check, and I only had time to send him like 4 skull emojis. That was it. It was good, though.
I was going to say, that's good, because I didn't attend parade day.
You didn't?
I'm like, I don't do that shit in the rain.
Oh, yeah, it rained. I don't think I left my
It
house
was
that
like
day.
it like sprinkled. It actually wasn't too bad, but we popped up our 10-foot tents out in front. We had 2 of them so that people could stand underneath it and watch the parade.
Oh, that's cool.
And that brought in a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So parade day was actually really good. No issues, no
Nice.
fights. I didn't have to kill anybody. This is great.
Jess is walking around with
Right?
her boxing gloves going like, let's go, bitch!
One of those barbed wire baseball bats.
I should keep one of those behind the bar. Yeah, there was no fights. There was like no real incidences. I think we only had to kick out one guy, and actually Carl kicked him out. I think, we typical shut off people and, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy, and the sales were great. So,
Perfect.
listen,
Third
it was
left
probably their left plate out back. And it was fucking packed, as per usual.
Who snuck through the kitchen?
What's that?
Who snuck through the kitchen?
Killian and all her friends. No, I told her too. I was like, you can sneak through the kitchen. I don't really care. But I also didn't realize that she had like 7 people behind her.
Yeah.
So like, I said hi to the first couple, and then I'm like,
then-
who the fuck are you? Who the
And
fuck
then
are
you're
you?
just
Hi!
like, that was more than I thought.
Do you even know these people?
But yeah, no, it was good actually. We all survived. Everybody made money, and nobody, there were no real issues. So I would say probably since I started here, that was the smoothest parade day that we've had.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm alive and
It's
well.
boring.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do better.
My wallet was really fat. Does that help?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you think it was because of the rain that it was a little more?
Well, because the year before the weather was almost very similar, and we were.
I remember it being rainy. It was cold.
It was cold and it drizzled.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of drizzled really early, and then that scared people off. And then, whereas kind of this year, it didn't start drizzling until the parade was already in full swing. So
People
no one was going to
here.
leave by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But because the weather last year kept people away, so we kind of had in comparison to other years, we kind of had a crappy Thanksgiving parade last year. But no, I mean it was.
So
it was good.
I don't know if it was a change in the proximity of when they decided to do it, but the gunfire was way fucking louder.
Really?
Heard it in my house, scared the shit out of me.
You're on All Things Plymouth. Whoa, what are all these gunfires?
I knew what it was.
Scanner talk.
Yeah. I actually think people still do that.
But
I think so.
Yeah, it was loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just they happened to do it this year,
closer to here,
that turn
well, I will
off of
say
Water
that
Street.
they had a lot more stoppages in between certain things, so maybe they wouldn't have necessarily stopped close to your house, but they did because there was so many gaps.
Right, yeah.
They kept having issues with
fucking parade traffic, man.
Yeah. Well, they kept having issues with the viewing area. So for instance, the only thing I knew off the top of my head was there was a dance academy that was supposed to do a whole fucking dance routine in front of the viewing stand and the news crews and all that stuff, and for some reason the music never played, or they didn't get the music or something, so they were all just standing there in their nice little Santa outfits and their hands on their hips, and they're waiting for the cue, and they're all just smiling, and they're all just little girls, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we actually rewatched it on Thanksgiving.
They're not old enough to be what the fuck, man?
Literally, yeah. And the newscasters were we promise you it's worth the wait. And I'm in my head, I'm no, it's not, because it never happened. So yeah, I mean, they would pause for a really long time while everyone just kept going, and they were trying to fix the issue, and then it never got fixed, so then they just kept moving on. So things like that kept happening in the viewing area. So there was good 10-minute gaps.
Yeah,
in
I was going to say
between.
there was one thing that I saw that wasn't Santa related. Jesus Christ! You think?
You're is this a Christmas parade or a Thanksgiving parade?
You would think it was the real fucking Santa Claus. That
oh,
was at the parade.
Yeah.
You need to explain this.
I will. But someone was what's up with all these gaps? But that would explain that.
Yeah.
The trick is, if you get drunk enough during the parade, you don't realize there's gaps because there's
my thing.
gaps in your memory.
Who's watching the parade?
Hey, it helped us because when nothing was going on out there, they'd come in and have a drink, and then when they'd see activity again, they'd just go right back out there.
Yeah.
I used to be the exact opposite. When I would go out there when nothing was going on, and then people would come out to go. I'm I'm going in the bar.
Yeah. To me, parade day is fuck the parade.
I mean,
I've seen the turkey float before. It's fine.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you a single float from that parade because I've never watched it.
Yeah.
I've been to it.
I can tell you there's two houses because I was at
the
stoplight maybe 6 weeks ago, and all of a sudden these two fucking houses drive through the intersection. I'm what the fuck was that?
I think one of them's the Mayflower house over here.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah,
And the
yeah,
other
yeah.
one might be...
And the other one's a smaller one, so sometimes they have the towing thing.
Yeah. I want to be one of those people that's driving underneath the float in a little mini car. Have you ever seen those?
I feel like that would be either...
I want to throw candy at people.
You mean you want to
throw rocks
fucking huck it at people?
Yeah, it's going to be rock candy.
You want a t-shirt cannon of candy?
Oh, no, I don't want a t-shirt cannon with t-shirts. That'd be even...
Yeah, but I feel like candy in a t-shirt cannon would be lethal.
It'd be
You're here you go,
candy.
kids!
Dude,
Boom!
right proximity to t-shirt cannon's lethal. So.
That's also true.
Oh,
Or I want to be the guy that sits on top of the riot tank with the hose.
Oh, yeah.
But in a parade.
You're right. Yeah.
I don't think they do that in parades, do they?
They don't, but...
They don't. That's at the end when they're
That's
trying to
the last
clear
float,
everybody
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Two birds, one stone. Get everyone out of there and start cleaning all the confetti.
All the confetti. Yeah.
Thinking man here.
Yeah, the Santa Claus controversy. There's been the same Santa Claus for fucking 20 years or some shit. And then they had a new Santa Claus this year. And then the
Apparently
original Santa Claus, they didn't tell him until like 2 days before. He never checked in or some dumb shit.
Something stupid.
Wait, so he didn't check in, so he didn't find out?
Yeah, essentially.
Well,
this is
never assume anything.
Exactly. But like, this is all grumbles that you're hearing. Like, I don't
I know. Again,
but
it's
like,
all over all Facebook.
Who gives a shit?
I know, yeah. And I'm like, how could they tell? They aren't all Santas fucking look the same?
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole point?
Yeah. Like, who cares? Who fucking cares?
Whatever.
And they're like, oh, the kids are so upset. I'm like, I guarantee your kids don't fucking care at all.
They're like, can we leave?
And if they're making
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the local online newspaper, like, did an article, like, sat down interview with him. And I'm like, is this really that important? Like,
dude, you would have thought so.
Yeah, I know. Everyone was
Between
up in
that
arms.
and the new fucking Christmas tree. Christmas is ruined.
Oh, yeah. The Christmas tree is fake, Dan.
Did hear that?
Yeah.
Don't care.
Fake, don't care either.
Yeah, like, who cares?
It looks great, actually.
Looks great. I think it looks great.
I think it looks better.
Like,
I think it looks better because, like, it's, like, in past years, it's been, like, janky and, like, lopsided and, like, this, and, like, some of the decorations they've put on it, like, the limbs, like, it's just, like, fucking holding on for dear life.
It's not over by the church now. It's
no,
by
it's
the
over.
town,
Yeah.
which makes fucking way more sense.
If they've been doing that for the last few years.
Yeah.
Just a couple years, though.
Yeah,
you're not missing out too much.
Why I get trapped at work every fucking tree lighting day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and,
I know.
The other thing is, like, they would just go somewhere in Plymouth and find a tree and cut it down. It's like, so now
Well,
you're
because
not cutting
so
a tree down every year.
I
Like,
know it got donated.
Well,
think
the
so.
one in Boston gets donated from Nova Scotia every year because we, like, saved their asses, like, 300 years ago or something.
I'm pretty sure it's just like the DPW is like, that tree
I
will
know.
work.
In the many grumblings I was reading,
Someone said it was donated. I am almost positive that's not true.
Yeah, so they spend, and that's the whole thing. You spend $40,000 in taxpayers' money for a fake tree. That's what everyone's
but you don't just spend that once.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you have a fucking tree every year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At least I think it's reusable.
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
If they spend $40,000 on a
one-timer,
everyone has a right to that.
Yeah. Oh, like
listen, why is everybody so grinchy?
Yeah, it's like,
right?
who gives a shit?
I'm the biggest Grinch of them all. I'm actually in a pretty good holiday spirit this year.
Right?
Yeah.
Someone asked me the other day, they're like, are you feeling the Christmas spirit? I'm like, kinda.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? Like,
I know.
like, what's wrong with
it's
you?
like
And I'm
everything's flip-flopped.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like
maybe because you guys are miserable?
it makes me happy.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, like everyone around me, like, I'm not in the mood for Christmas. I'm like, really? Because for the first time ever, I put my decorations up, like, before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And,
Weirdo.
yeah, well, it was partially because I was just curious to see if my decorations made it through the winter, because it's always a guessing game every year.
True.
Yeah.
Needless to say, update, my tree did not make it. Somehow it got, the box it was in was halfway full of water underneath my house.
Oh, because you have like crawl space.
Yeah, I have a crawl space. So I don't know how it got full of water, but there's no water in my crawl space. So
Weird.
I don't know. Maybe somebody just wanted to ruin Christmas. It's like Grinch. Maybe literally the Grinch came in and is like, haha, fuck your tree, and he fucking just filled it with water.
It's like, I have to water it so it grows.
Yeah, even though it's fake.
Yep.
Yeah, so whatever.
It's fake water.
It's fake water. It was
Yeah.
definitely real
Yeah.
water. It smelled so bad. I popped it open and I was like, oh my god.
Because it's probably been sitting there a
You
while.
shut the door,
Yeah.
like, this is next year.
I'll have Matt do this.
Well, I was dragging it out, and I'm like, why is this thing so fucking heavy? And then I was like, oh, maybe like my porcelain village houses were in there. I'm like, okay, maybe like whatever. No, it's because it was half full of water. I'm like dragging it out, and like, oh, so heavy. But no, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of in the Christmas spirit, but
do you think that will change? Do you guys have Christmas parties booked here?
we actually this year we don't have many. I think we only have 2, and last year we were jammed with Christmas parties like for offices and stuff. We've had more functions for after wedding parties this year than any year that I've ever been here. That's been the biggest thing. And then just like general birthday parties. But yeah, like last year we had 1 every weekend, if not 2 every week in December. So we don't have anything.
We're up to 2 Christmas parties this year for Neighbor Art. But it's not we've been doing one company for the past couple of years, and this year I reached out, I'm like, hey, I don't want make sure we don't want to miss booking you guys. And they're like, oh, we're not doing a holiday party this year. I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jimmy Scrooge last year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that was a huge company, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be fair, I don't know if they're just being polite because we had a huge technical fuck up last year, so I don't know if they're just kind of like.
Fucked up.
What'd you do?
He accidentally projected a picture of his penis on the wall.
Oh,
well, first of all,
That's the biggest dick joke ever.
It's kind of so. We were supposed to do it at Narragansett Brewery, and so they paid the balance. And it was like 2 days away. They paid the balance, and like 6 hours later, they're like, "We have to reschedule."
Oh, I remember you saying that.
All of Rhode Island is falling. There was some bridge that
the bridge,
held up
that's
Rhode Island or
right.
something.
Yep.
And so they wanted like a non-denominational Christmas ornament. So we were going to make it like ocean theme, like the sand and shells, and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so then they rescheduled to March. And they're like, "Do we have to do the ornament?" I'm like, "Well, I have all the shit."
I know, right?
But you don't want to be like, "I'm not giving you your money back," so no. And so then we came up with like we call them coastal candles. So like the sand and shells at the bottom.
Yeah.
The transparent wax is dyed blue, so it looks like the ocean. So we came up with this plan. We're going to melt the wax in a crock pot.
It is the ocean state, isn't it?
It is the ocean state, yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Listen.
And I planned that all along. So
You just look outside and see the ocean.
right. So we had like the crock pot full of wax, which like we melted all day because it takes a while to melt.
I know, yeah, it does.
Transported it melted.
Oh, that was
That
was risky.
It is
one bump and all
because
of a
that's
sudden
also flammable. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
So. And they got there and immediately plugged it in, because it sets up a little bit.
Yep.
And so, like, the line's forming and people, it was almost like buffet style. Like, they get their glass. They put
Oh,
this
okay,
in,
yeah.
And so they're, get down to the wax and they're pouring the wax in. And as they're pouring, we're adding more to keep it, like, full.
Yep.
And so I added, like, a big chunk. And it was starting to melt, but then, like, the rest of it was starting to set up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And at one point, I reached under the table to get, like, more glassware.
You unplugged it.
I bumped the cord from the extension cord, but, like, that was my immediate thought. So I looked, and I'm like, Fish, the extension cord's still plugged in. He's like, yeah.
Right, but the
But it was the-
connection.
yeah. So then people were just standing there. I'm like, oh, this is going to take a while to melt.
Let's get fucked up.
Why don't you guys come back? They're like, but we'll lose our spot in line. I'm like, I guarantee you won't lose
Like,
anything.
it's going to be okay.
So
Don't
people
worry.
are just standing there staring at me.
Oh, my God.
And the number one thing when you do this, you can't stir the wax.
Why?
Because it works in air. So it looks fine when you pour it in, but when it sets
I
up,
see.
it is literally like just a complete ball of bubbles. And
the ocean has bubbles.
Yeah, not like this. So people were walking out with these
seafoam.
Yeah, so people were walking out with these horrible-looking candles, and then we're told that they're not having fire this year. I'm like, you can tell me. I'm like, I told you there was an issue. On the day.
So it's all right. Shit happens.
So,
you guys should have made model bridges.
Little Lego bridges
to commemorate the bridge.
Big bridges.
There you go. That's even better. Yeah, so I would love to get more corporate gigs, but they're kind of not the easiest to get.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Cold call.
Yeah. And then you're like...
You just have to harass them.
Yeah.
Fine, just leave me alone.
I know.
Do you guys get holiday parties at Stats? Or?
I have a fuck ton of parties. Don't know if they're for the holidays. We have a million every weekend, and they're all different. So,
really?
Like, I don't know what they are until I walk into work. They say, "Hey, you have this party, this party, this party, this party."
You do a lot of functions over there? Well,
yeah,
functions to say the least, but yeah.
Yep.
Really? Interesting.
The way you described the bar, I would never expect that.
That's exactly
that's jack of many trades.
Hey, that's what you got to be.
Marathon fundraiser yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense. We've done a couple of those.
Yep.
So when you do a fundraiser like that, do they have a shit ton of auction stuff?
Depends on the part. It's up to them. So the one yesterday did.
Yeah, that was when we did one. It was just like shit everywhere in the back room. Oh my God.
And some show up with nothing, and then they're sad that they didn't make any money.
Yep. Yeah.
I
feel
people
like
are just going to give you money.
I know, right?
There's polar opposites between like fundraisers because we get a decent amount, and it's like the people who would be like, "How many tickets have sold?" And you're like,
I know.
none.
Right.
And be like, oh, and like it's kind of your job to sell the tickets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't even get me started about that.
and then the other ones will be like, we have 47 people showing up to paint wine glass. They'll be like, you guys fucking rock. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, but speaking of holiday parties, Matt just had his holiday party with his
van
company. That'd be sweet. Party in the van. It's just him. No, he had his company Christmas party, and Matt doesn't drink anymore, so he just like, I have to go make an appearance and like whatever. So he shows up. He's there for maybe 2 hours, and he comes home. Well, the next day, apparently there was all sorts of shenanigans that happened after he left.
Oh, really?
And there was something about like they went to this bar, like an after party, and like this kid was like, I don't know if like it's a place where they have dart boards, but he decided he wasn't going to use the dart board to throw the darts at, and he was just fucking throwing darts at walls and shit.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
So I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I feel like you being sober, you should stick around longer so you can like see all the fun shit that happens because you'll actually remember it.
Yeah.
Well, if you're like that one sober person in that room, that might be the most miserable fucking...
Oh, for sure. For him,
it's not usually fun being the sober person.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, if I...
sober person.
Right. Like, if I was with him, maybe he would have stuck around.
What do you mean? You'd be throwing the darts at people, too.
That's true. We'll be like, yeah, all right, we do the feeling.
We're throwing axes.
I went to a Christmas party one time, and, like, my boss was like, oh, it's mandatory that all the supervisors attend. I'm like, this is bullshit. But then it was shortly after my father passed away, and so I sent him a text. I'm like, listen, just now realizing this is on the anniversary of my father's passing. I'm like, if I fucking Irish goodbye, don't take offense, blah, blah. I show up, he's shit-faced. And it's like, this party just started.
It's all about that pregame, man.
He gives me this, like, hug, because he lost his father when he was a kid. He's like, oh, and I'm sitting there going, too long. This hug's too long. Let go.
Let go.
Like, this is super weird. Let go of me.
He's like, Andy, I know you lost your father, but I'll be your daddy.
Dude, it was weird. And the girl I was with is
I'm
just
your new daddy now.
Looking at me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, Christmas parties can get wild. Yeah. I mean, I've been to a few that have gotten pretty crazy. I think I've been to this before, like one year when I worked at East Bay, somehow my room became the after party room, and the year before, the hotel that we were all staying at, the year before it was so crazy, we were up on like the third floor, like not near the lobby. So the next year they decided to put us next to the lobby in case there were any issues. They could address it quickly.
Yeah.
Well, they also didn't realize that was a bad idea because they put us on the floor above the pool. Like just one floor above. Yeah. And so a bunch of people were just jumping off the balcony and onto the pool area and swimming in the pool at 3 a.m. So, yeah, and then I think that the following year, I wasn't working there anymore, but the following year, I think they decided to not host us anymore.
I always feel like I get to accompany the year after the fun party. So, I worked for this company, and it
was it Home Depot?
No.
I feel like we have to say that every time.
It was like a large...
The other companies ever worked for.
It was a very large, small company.
So
there was
Ace Hardware.
There's probably like 200 people, but like the fucking owner of the company, you'd like have lunch with them in the lunchroom, and like they're like, oh yeah, we used to have this bar downtown Plymouth, and the bar closed, and we were still there for like 2 hours after, and the owner was like behind the bar mixing drinks and blah blah.
I think I know what bar that was.
I'm curious what you think it is. We'll change this. We'll discuss that after.
No.
But
it's the one that's no longer allowed to be open late at night on the weekends anymore.
No.
No, it wasn't that one?
No, that one. It's one that's no longer exists, I'll tell you that.
Oh, all right, then say it. What are we pussyfooting around here for?
It was
T-Bones.
No. It was either I think it was the Waterfront.
Okay.
I was going to say Crow's Nest, but it wasn't the Crow's Nest. It was the Waterfront.
I mean, that sounds way more in par for the Crow's Nest than it's in the Waterfront Bar and Grill.
But and so then like I got there the next year was pretty tame, but then like the year after that he took us all into Boston. So he took care of us. It was just like it was not out of control by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when we used to work for BBC where they would cancel the holiday parties every other year?
Because of
some fucking place
shenanigans.
There'd always be one.
Always one location would ruin it for the rest of them.
We always wait.
It was never. Did they
have
us.
all the locations together?
No.
Right.
Well, you could. So we were allowed $500 to spend per location per Christmas party.
Yeah.
So
which gets you nothing.
I was gonna say that's not.
It doesn't really get you.
Were the little
BBC, that's a lot. But
there's like 5 employees.
Yeah.
But which brings me to my next point, where like you could opt to like group locations together. So like we one year did it with the Pembroke BBC because two things that I knew. One, I knew a lot of people weren't going to be from their staff weren't going to come to the Christmas party.
Yeah.
And two, they had a smaller staff. So like our staff was like we reap the benefits of their extra $500.
Right. Yeah.
And I think one year I messaged you and I was like, "Hey, you want to combine Christmas parties?" You're like, "Nah, man, we got $500 for 5 people."
Every year everyone tried to recruit me. I was like, "No, thank you."
I only did it because I
respectfully declined.
Yeah. I mean, I only asked you because I'm like, well, I know Mahoney, and I think Tiso was working for you, and everybody I knew worked there. So I was like, I wanted you guys to like come hang out. But then when you mentioned that, I was like, yeah, I guess that's right. I guess I wouldn't want to do that either.
Yeah.
But 2 years in a row,
that's not a lot of money for
a big 2
group.
years in a row, we had it at Main Street, up at the upstairs, because they had like a pizza and a pitcher deal.
Oh, okay,
and so like it was dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And we got beers out of it, and we had money left over to buy like, because it's like what was like a pitcher and a pizza were like $10 or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so like
that does go a long way.
It does go a long way. And I think I was like, okay, spend like this amount of money in the food and the beer, and then the rest pay for if somebody wants like a cocktail and they don't want a beer.
Yeah. Yep.
And then like, after like, I think it was probably like after like 2 hours or something, we spent the $500 between everybody.
Okay, working for big corporations, you get way better.
Trust me, for sure. Because then there was like you said, there was like many years. I think there was like 1 year they didn't want to give us money at all.
Yeah.
And then I think we kind of like all chirped in. We were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then they ended up doing it. That was more just because they wanted to be greedy and not give us the money.
Yeah.
It's not like something happened.
Yeah. But there were plenty of times when something did happen.
Yeah. But I mean, Cedarville was never part of Cedarville was never part of the commotion, I don't think. I mean, 1 year it was pretty wild at Main Street, but like once everything dispersed, like it wasn't like there was no issues. But I think didn't the I guess you call it the CEO. Who was that guy that was like right up there with Shane?
Craig?
Yes. Didn't something happen with him and somebody?
Do we need to censor that person's name?
No, because I don't know. He doesn't work for the
maybe.
company. I think because I think the Worcester meeting that we all went to.
Yeah.
Wasn't it right after that?
Right before.
Or shortly after? I forget.
Remember. I tuned out for those meetings, so I'm trying to remember.
No, but the car ride up was the best part, because all we kept talking about was the scandal. It was you, me, Adam, Kudo,
and Mike.
Rob, and Mike Otto,
Yep.
and we all carpooled in that. The ride up there was
the only time
the
I've ever
best
been happy
part.
to be in a car with 5 people.
It was the fucking funniest. It was the funniest meeting that we've ever had, and like we're all texting each other during the meeting. We're all sitting across the room at each other. We're all just waiting to see the text. We're laughing. They're talking about like budgets and money. We're like,
they asked me questions about the kitchen. I was like, fuck.
I know, yeah.
I don't even know what this meeting's about. I haven't paid attention for more than 3 seconds.
But yeah, I and maybe it wasn't the Christmas party, but I thought it was. He got in trouble with that.
I vaguely remember that, but I don't think it was a Christmas.
Really low level employee.
Yeah. I don't think it was a Christmas party. I think it was just a regular day.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I mean, You can get in a lot of trouble if you work in like a big corporate business. Yeah. You can get in a lot of fucking trouble with Christmas parties.
It just amazes me that you'd think that the people who are in charge would be like, all right, tonight is a night where I really shouldn't be drinking. And then you're like, oh, how are you so drunk?
Because
like, how are you the drunkest person and in charge?
Yeah. Well, big corporations, like, they spend some fucking dough.
Yeah.
So it's all free drinks.
Yeah.
So why not?
Ours is always really fun. And but you always have that one person that's never been to like a party like that. Mm-hmm. And last year, one of the newer girls is her first ever holiday party with us. Mm-hmm. And you could tell because she was at the bar and just kept ordering shots for everyone. And nobody wants these. Even the bartender, who was like also like one of our regulars.
Oh, okay,
was like, dude, nobody's buying and taking these shots.
Oh my god.
So we kept joking. She's like the kid giving out candy on Halloween for the first time ever.
Yeah.
So the last company Christmas party I went to, they let us out of work early that day. Mm-hmm. They arranged for, it was at least one, maybe two buses from the office into Boston.
Nice.
He had a block of hotel rooms at a discounted rate if you wanted to stay in town. And then it was a cruise through the harbor. Granted, it was fucking January, but it was still fun.
I was going to say, I'm like...
It was still fun.
Was it side rate?
Was it heated?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a heated cruise.
And an open bar. The only rule was no shots.
Yeah. Well, I think that... Well, was that for the Christmas party as a whole, or was it just on the boat?
Well, like, the party was only on the boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, once it docked, then you were on your own.
Well,
you got back on the bus, or you fucking...
typically... Like, because I've had a party on a boat before, and they say no shots at all.
It could have been like the boat rule. Yeah, I don't know.
That's funny.
But it's not a bad rule.
No, it's definitely not.
Especially in a place where there are limited bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you can't go outside and throw up off the boat. But in January, you might be a little less likely to make that decision.
I mean, people still were going outside, but they weren't staying outside.
Right.
They'd be out like 20 minutes or something. But, Oh, and then, like, he would go around and hand you an envelope of $100 cash.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And, like, people would be like,
oh. You hold it up and just blow off.
People would be like, oh, I'm not going to go to the Christmas party this year. Be like, fucking why?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I know. Yeah, like
you're getting paid $100 to go to a party.
Yeah. East Bay, they used to do, like, raffles and stuff, and you used to, get, like, like one year I bought, like, I won a basket of, like, bottles of booze and stuff, or like whatever. It's all shit they get from either that or they all get it free from reps anyway.
Of course, yeah.
But so we at New World last year was the first year that we've had a staff Christmas party because Carl, I guess, is usually a Grinch about it.
I was going to say because you outvoted the Grinch.
But yes, I did outvote him.
Tolson's
I pay you. I pay you. I give you a paycheck. I don't have to give you anything else. I give you a paycheck.
Yeah, seriously. And we went to Speedwell, and and to be fair, we don't have a huge staff anyway, but we didn't have a lot of people come. And I get it, like, you don't want to you hang out with these people all the time that maybe you're just like, I don't...
I've had places where I work where I'm like, I don't want to see these people. But I've had other places where I'm like, I'd hang out with people.
I think, like, sometimes it's different because you see each other in one place.
Yeah. Right, in one type of setting, so right.
How often are you all together where, like, you're not fighting customers or whatever?
Right.
So then there's also that guy where you're like, oh, he's drunk at work. Let's see him outside.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost the fun part. It's like, I get to see this creature in the sunlight.
Yeah, I mean, we still had a blast, and again, that made our dollars get stretched a little further because it was less people that came. Yeah. But, like, I get it too. Like, it's like, you see these people all the time. You're just like, I don't really care. Or, like, like, we're all sitting around at the end of a shift having drinks sometimes anyway. So it's like, it's the same, right?
Same thing, yeah.
I think it's a little more hype when you have, like, a big staff.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Like, I see this person once a month.
Yeah.
Or like...
wait, you still work for us?
Yeah.
Like,
that party on the boat.
Some people show up for
Yeah.
That party on the boat, you're allowed to bring a +1. And this group walks in, I'm like, who the fuck brought their kid? And they're like, what? I'm like, that girl is like 12. And they go, she's the welder. And I'm like, what?
Who brought a baby?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you want to go read some nursery rhymes?
I was just like, I can't believe someone brought their
There once was
kid.
a man from Nantucket.
So is there like
you want to see my dinghy?
So dumb. Is there like a golden definitely don't do, and not when you're putting together? Don't do that, but I mean, like, if you're planning the Christmas party, is there like, all right, we're definitely not, like, shots, bad idea? Is there like we're not gonna do?
No, mine's a free for all.
Yeah, we try to do stuff like where there's things to do while you're drinking.
Yeah.
So you have like games and shit.
Yeah, it's like we did. Where did we go last year?
I was gonna say, do you go to the same place every year,
No,
or
it's
do you
always
try and
somewhere
switch it up? Yeah.
They're
And I
not
don't know-
allowed back.
Yeah.
There's one place I wouldn't be surprised.
How big is your staff?
Pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
Probably, we counted the other day, and it's at least 40
Yeah. Okay.
bartenders,
Yeah.
waitresses. So it's probably like
That's what I was
60 people,
expecting. Yeah. Okay.
Where did we go? We went to this place called PKL. It's a pickleball bar.
Oh.
Yeah.
No one played pickleball, but like they let us play flip cup and beer pong. We not know we played. A couple people played, and they had like the floor shuffleboard. I'm like, I'm going to play floor
There you
shuffleboard.
go, yeah.
And I play. I'm like, I get why only old people play. This is boring.
Yeah.
And that's the tough thing is, it's like I've had those where you're like, oh, we're gonna, one year we did it at the Charlie Horse,
Mhm.
and like
Which
The one
one?
over here?
the one in
Abington.
was it West Bridgewater?
Same thing.
Oh,
Bridgewater? Yeah.
Yep.
I know where Abington is.
So it's Barrett's now.
Yeah. And like some people played pool, some people played some video games, but like even then it's like
Yeah, well, that place was like
Everything-
a giant arcade / giant restaurant
it was
/
very
giant
weird.
pool
Like
table hall.
nightclub. It was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
weird.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But like
You never been there?
No.
It's huge.
Bridgewater?
it is. It's
I know.
massive.
Fucking,
Yeah.
let's take 13 different side roads to get.
Or just the highway. It's literally right off the
I
highway.
don't know. Which highway?
I know.
The one I drive past every day?
Probably.
But like so much of the arcades like that now are like those ticket machines
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
people just like fuck, I
They're like,
do
what do I
that?
care?
Like,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Wait, no, that's not true because when you're fucking hammered with a million tickets, you gotta have a blast in
I'm
that prize
telling,
room.
I'm telling you, no one like people were doing like the basketball hop shot thing.
Yeah.
But like there was no one. Maybe it was just the fucking
Fucking
people.
lamos.
Yeah, that was not,
Lame-o.
It's not,
that was not the most fun group to hang out
Yeah,
with.
it sounds like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
What do we do with these free prizes? Don't want 'em.
One of the supervisors almost threw someone out of the party because he didn't know who he was, and we're all like,
Yeah, it sounds like
We
a party
think it-
I would skip.
but we're like, did you single this guy out because he's black? We feel like that's what it was. Like, he's been on the team like for 4 days and not
Yeah, you
work,
started
like,
working here.
Yeah, like
You started yesterday, buddy.
yeah, it was, and he was very distinct looking. Like you're like, he had like a grill, you know.
Oh my God,
Like, he was
a
like hard to
grill.
miss.
Yeah, I know. I want to do a Christmas party again this year with my staff. But like even last year when we did it for the first time, Carl was like, well, why don't we just have it here, like at New World?
I think that's
And
a terrible idea.
I told him, I said, that's such a bad idea. I said, for so many reasons. One, you just lose track of everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you're just losing track of what you're fucking pouring. You lose track of this. Then I was like, okay, so then who's going to work it? Because
Right.
I'm not
And who's
having
gonna clean
people
up from
drinking.
it?
And then who's gonna, and I said, and who's going to clean up from it? Oh, me? Yeah, that's not happening, you know? Like, so I get where he was coming from because it just makes it easier. Like,
if you
okay,
had
we'll all just show up here.
People
Like,
from Tolson's work it.
and I offered that too, and he said, "Oh, I could." He's like, "I could see." He's like, "But I don't really know if anybody would want to come and do that, like
What
from
if
his
me and
staff."
Andy work it?
Well, and then I made her.
There you
I
go.
said something like that too. I said the only people that I would trust to have bartend are people that I know. I was like, so like Killian, Dan, like Amy, like those people. Like, no, I don't trust you. Are you kidding? How many? You've served us absinthe, okay? So you're
Just one
officially
time.
yeah. One time was one time too many.
But that's when you didn't know what you were drinking. I wouldn't serve it if you ordered a
I mean, to be fair, I've willingly drank absinthe other times. I don't judge you for that, Andy. There's other things that I hold against you.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the absinthe isn't one of them.
Yeah. But, you know what I mean? Like, so then, and then I'm like, and then I did, you know, like, I don't know, like, I feel bad about, but I mean, the plus side for bringing, like, somebody like you guys in is, like, you'd make a shit ton of money because we're all restaurant people. But I was like, I don't know. I was like, there's too many cons and not enough pros. So I was, you know.
I wonder, do you think and I'm not saying your specific group of people, just in general, if you had a business and you had it at your location, do you think they would act worse because they're more comfortable in that location? Where, like, if they went to a different bar or restaurant where they'd be like, all right, I have to be be a little bit, you know, because it's not my place,
I think
so I can't be a
that
total
only lasts
fucking
for the
asshole.
first couple of drinks.
Right.
You're like, who cares?
Well, and I can only say, because speaking of East Bay, like I said, like I think the year after I stopped working there, they weren't allowed to have it at that hotel anymore.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was that same year they decided to have it at their own East Bay, but I heard some stories and it was a fucking shit show.
Yeah, I've never heard of one at a location.
At its own location that
well.
like was successful. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Or depending on how you want to look at it, super successful.
Right. Well, then that's the thing too. It's like, okay, so then like, are you gonna like I know Carl would probably be like just take care, like he would take care of probably most of the staff for most of the night, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he would probably just
Till
be like
10
up
p.m.
until X amount of dollars,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I thought you meant like babysit.
Yeah, no, I ain't babysitting anybody, honey. They had to babysit me. So, like, okay, so that if you have it at your own place, like, so you're just charging everybody. I mean, I guess East Bay would definitely do that. So you charge everybody for everything, but then do you take care of them in any way? Do you buy a few drinks for them in any way? Do you, like,
And that's the thing. Is like, so I'm paying the place where I work at for the Christmas party.
Exactly.
They're supposed to be throwing for me. Fuck that.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's easy in the...
I feel like you'd have to like do like, the party's till 10, and then after 10 you're on your own.
Yeah.
You just have to end it. You have to have an end time.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Get
right.
the fuck out before.
But
you
also
throw up.
with a huge staff,
Yeah.
that's a lot of, you know.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, open bar for the first 2 hours. I think that's actually what they've done. They used to do, even when we had it at the hotel, they paid for like the first 2 hours.
Yep.
I hate open bars
Why?
Why?
because it's like when you get the drunkest.
You
I
hate
feel,
America too?
I know, right? But I also
Damn.
feel like it's one of those things where it can be very wasteful, where people are like, "Oh, I got a drink," and then they put the drink down. They're like, "Oh, I fucking lost my drink." They make no effort to look for it. I feel like if
That sounds irresponsible for the drink holder.
no,
Hold on to your drink.
But I'm just saying. I feel like every open bar I've seen, there's always like a lot of like half drunk drinks.
Have you been to a bar at 12:30 at night when we're kicking everybody out? There's so many dead souls
Okay,
everywhere.
All right.
I'll pick up like 5 Bud Light cans that they just had to get at last call, and they're all still full.
No, I have not done that. So
Yeah.
maybe that's just
Yeah, that's definitely
my perspective.
Yeah, that's the wrong perspective.
All right.
No, I love it.
I enjoy drinking for free.
Moni,
but
is
it's
your
just,
wedding that's coming up soon open bar?
For most of it.
So it's like so like for like a certain
Yeah.
the drunkest I've ever
All right,
gotten.
okay,
was
so
at
I'm
an open bar
gonna
as well, too.
I feel like a lot of people.
So I'm not leaving the bar. For
I was at a wedding and
3
we were
hours
all
of your
drinking.
open bar. I'm like, keep serving me.
We were all drinking, and every table had 2 open bottles of wine.
Oh yeah.
And my buddy,
Just fucking slugged it.
my buddy's like, "That's a shame. Those are going to waste." I'm like, "Yeah, that's really terrible." He goes, "We're gonna drink those." I'm like, "No, we're not." We did,
What do you mean? No, we're not.
and I got very, very drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wine drunk is funny.
Not
It's
the best
funny
time.
drunk.
No. I feel
when
like
you've
that's
been
like
doing other drunks too.
Yeah.
that's
I feel like that is when I get angry drunk.
You get angry on wine?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not that night. That night I just got. Someone should take care of him.
He's got the red like stain around his lips.
Nice shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
You get angry on wine. All right.
I don't drink a lot of wine, but the only other time I got like really drunk on wine, I was very.
So note to self, don't feed
don't
Andy next
feed
door.
Andy wine. Oh yeah.
So Uber's opening a new place.
I know, right?
Um,
That's funny.
so, are there places that you would not, and obviously don't name them, Jess, that you would not allow to have a Christmas party here again, and why?
Not allow them to have a Christmas party here?
Like, if they called up and like, hey, this is Stats in Boston, we want to have a Christmas party, they'd be like, fuck, no.
No, I don't think so.
You've never had one go that south?
No. I've only had one Christmas party that was like, I knew what it was, right? So like I knew what the business was. Right? I knew like, and it was Speedwell. So every year Speedwell tries to have it at a new restaurant around to help support whatever.
Yeah. I've been to those parties too. Those are fun.
Yeah. I bartended out back for them, and it was hilarious.
Jordan's like, hey, we're having a Christmas party. I'm like, all right, I'll be there. Yeah. He's like, okay, I guess.
I just told you not to come in.
Yeah. And we had it out back, and it was funny because Ling Ling ended up like DJing the whole night. Like I gave him like the iPad thing. He's just like all of a sudden it's like DJ Ling Ling in the back. It's like whatever, dude. It's your Christmas party. You can do whatever you want. But no, there's nobody that I'd be like, oh yeah, no, we're not booking that.
Those are always ones when I talk to the Speedwell staff afterwards. They're always like, "Oh yes," either someone
someone hooked up, or
someone was mad they didn't hook up, or
That's almost the funnest part.
I know, right? All right, who hooked up? Yep. Who hooked up?
The trick is you need to have a buddy system in those things. So like, if me and Jess work together, I'm like, Jess, you need to let me know when it's time to go, and I'll let you know.
Okay, that was the worst example you could have possibly given.
I was going to say,
but so many times that we've gone out.
I'm not saying like I don't that Jess would be my person, but neither would Andy because he wouldn't do it either. As I found out in Vegas. So.
As me and Dan found out,
I did tell you no
on a Monday afternoon.
When you called me in my hotel room after we had already left, you're like, let's go back out. I'm like, no.
You didn't tell me that we should go home.
No,
I was not home.
Yeah, I'm not your person. I'm sorry, dude.
No, I know that.
I'll be there right there with you.
I'm really like trying to be like, all right, who do I know that would be that person?
Alicia. Whether I listen to her or not, that's a different story.
Matt probably wouldn't make me go home. He would probably just go, all right, I'm going home.
Well, he's a sober person.
He's a sober one, yeah. That's different.
Well, the trick is you can't make them go home. You have to figure out a way to
persuade them,
guide them.
Well, Killian sometimes can be like
we should go somewhere else. I'm like, okay, and then you just walk them back to the car.
Yeah. Just guiding them.
Yeah.
Killian can be like that, but when we were just in Nashville earlier this week, or last week, I should say, the night before we were flying out, she said, okay, we have to be home by 8 p.m. And we went out at like 3. So I was like, okay, that's plenty of time. She said, because I don't want to be hungover in the plane. Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, you don't, I'm okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. 8 o'clock rolls around. She met this lesbian couple the night before, and they walked by, and she's like, oh my god, it's the fun lesbian couple, let's go hang out with them. So then we're going to the next bar that they're at, and we're hanging out with them, and then 9 o'clock rolls around, she starts buying shots for everybody, and then 10 o'clock rolls around, she's like, it's time to go home. I'm like, alright. Usually she's like, okay, come on, let's go. And I was just letting her roll. I ain't telling you to go home. I'm going to be fine tomorrow.
Yeah,
you are not. Yeah.
Hungover people on airplanes are not fun.
I've gotten sick once on an airplane. It's not fun.
Yeah, I try not to drink before, but
I almost left in the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That Vegas, right?
Yeah.
The first time, you guys took the worst flight ever.
Yeah, we did. And it was delayed like an hour and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember coming home from Texas. I was like, I don't like to drink before a flight. But like, I might kill myself if I don't. Like, so I was in like the airport lounge. I'm like, I need a bourbon on the rocks. He's like, no. You guys like, do you want a double? I was like, fucking can't get any worse.
Yeah, I'm
selling me out. Made it through my flight fine.
Yeah, I've only flown hungover once. I threw up on the way to the airport. I don't remember when. Oh, this was last September when I went to go meet Amy in Nashville. I was like on vacation, like it was like I flew out Sunday, I got off my shift here, and I was like, I'm on vacation, woo! Proceeded to drink all night, and then the next morning I was like, I'm not doing so good. Yeah, and then when I arrived, I felt great when I arrived in Nashville because I got it all out of me, and I showed up and I started drinking again. And then the next day, the girls were like, "Oh, you seem in better spirits today." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "It's because I was hungover yesterday." They're like, "You were hungover?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "We had no idea." And he's like, "You just kept drinking." I'm like, "Yeah, because I was hungover. Like I needed more." Yeah.
You're supposed to hydrate,
right? Actually, this one we were just in Nashville. I was making jokes about how, like, you know you're 40 when you start pre-gaming with Liquid IV instead of nips. I had a whole row of Liquid IV packets that we were just chugging before we went out.
That's smart. I never think to drink that before I go drink.
Well, and I even said, I was like, I don't know if it works like this, but we're going to try.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I started my day every single day with like one or two of them, and then I had one waiting by my bed when I got home.
But I think that's the one that you need. It's the one before bed.
They can never be too hydrated, my friend.
Oh, there's diet from drinking too much water.
You can never have too much electrolytes.
There's those guys that we met in Vegas that had, like, I can't remember what the fuck they called it.
Oh,
something armor. And you're
supposed
to,
the
like,
armor. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was like a 5-hour energy.
I want to call it body armor, but that's not it.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, I know.
I want to say armor etch, but it's not that either. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, and then you don't get as drunk and hung. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Well, don't get as drunk. That's
we'll take some. We'll take some.
I mean, listen, I drank some that day, but I also drank a lot of tequila and whiskey to get my hangover out the day we went on stage. So something got me through it.
Yeah, I don't know what
Whatever
it was.
company wants to take that.
Whatever company wants to sponsor us, take the credit for that.
Yeah.
By all means.
Now, what about the day after your company Christmas party? Like, especially in the restaurant business.
I tried my fucking hardest not to work that day.
Yeah, but I know in the restaurant business, like, people calling out and stuff like that, and it's like,
well, that's the rule. You don't get a job anymore if you call out for the Christmas party.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think in most recent years, like, well, last year, we have it on a Monday, so like we're not open till 4 p.m. on the next day,
so
and
you
like
get your
I have
shit
like
together by
I have
4.
3 people that work, so out of the 10, 12 people I have, like, but like the BBC kind of was almost like I think someone was just about to walk on the door. See? Oh, no. All right. Nope. Never mind. They would always try and be like, okay, like, even if it was normally your shift the next morning, like, people would know. They'd be like, all right, I'm not going to be all right. Who wants to work my shift? And they would give it up to the people who don't care.
Yeah.
So, like, for the most part, people were pretty responsible about it. But, I mean...
It's those ones I was young enough where I didn't give a fuck. I'll show up to work in any shape.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
doesn't matter.
And that was always, like, I know so many people, like, throughout my life, they're like, I took my birthday off. I'm like, don't take your fucking birthday off. Take the day after your birthday off. Because they'll have cake on your birthday. Yeah, but they'll have cake on your birthday.
Well, here's the thing. If you're...
low expectations because it's your birthday.
If you're in the bar industry, restaurant industry, whatever, and you work for tips, you never take your birthday off.
Because everybody
always...
Your birthday,
you're going to make so much more money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bridget's birthday was this year, the night before Thanksgiving. So so she worked out back, and her daughter brought in like birthday balloons, like big giant fucking birthday balloons. So like everyone knew it was her birthday. Yeah, it was great.
When I first moved to Plymouth, my go-to bar was Luciosa's, which was at the end of the street, and so I got to know everyone there. And like they had closed, and Katie's was still open. So a couple of the waitresses, John Luce and myself, went for like last call at the bar because 2 of the servers there had birthdays on the same. It was their birthday.
Oh yeah.
And John's like, I'll buy you a drink, whatever. And so like he buys them shots, and I'm like, that's bullshit. It's my birthday too. Fucking being sarcastic as shit. He bought me a shot. I'm like, okay, thanks. To this day, if I see certain people, and it happened just like 2 weeks ago, they're like, "Happy birthday, Andy," and I'm like, "Thanks."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Holiday Christmas parties are, I've
luckily escaped them without any terrible
we don't
stories.
Yeah, knock on
personally.
It's always this year.
We still got time.
Well, Inebriar doesn't have a Christmas party. We actually did a little Thanksgiving get together.
Right. Yeah.
That, I invited all my friends too. My real friends showed up.
I'm a busy guy. There's this thing called a wedding to plan.
It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. I'm like, oh, do we do this like in December around New Year's or something?
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Dan, do you have your party in January?
January.
Yeah, we usually have ours in January.
See, January. I think one year we did in February.
Yeah,
I honestly like that so much better.
Yeah. I actually kind of feel like, especially restaurant people, like it's better for the restaurant business that we're having it at as well, because it's always a slow time for everybody, and like it's a little boost in income for them on that day.
Yep.
Everything's just out of the way. All the other holiday chaos is just out of the way, so it's like you're not a burden to be there.
The company that took us into Boston on the boat and stuff, they did theirs in January too. They're not even remotely related to
restaurants. It's also cheaper to book stuff.
I think it's cheaper. I think you get better turnouts because people have like less on their plate. Yep.
Right. Yeah. The people have a lot going on, and we'll probably do one again this year. I just have to think about where to.
Does Carl attend?
No, he doesn't even attend the podcast.
Doesn't attend the podcast about the holiday?
This year it's at Carl's house.
Yeah. Oh my! I know where he lives.
Same.
I just knock on the door. I'm like, Jen, hello.
We'll warn Jen. Like Jen.
I was gonna say, I feel like Jen might be down for it.
Jen would be down.
That's true.
Yeah.
She'd either be down for it, or she'd make sure it'd be on a day where she's at the hospital. Where she's working.
So just drop Carl off on a stretcher.
Yeah. Yeah. Surprise! You're having a Christmas party at your house. Yeah, I'd have to think about where I want to have it again this year, because I don't want to have it like a local restaurant somewhere.
I'm gonna say have it at Sky Zone.
Yeah.
See, that seems. I feel like
tear all the ACLs.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if it's like it's one thing to have like games or something like you're saying, but like to go on a full blown like
American
trampoline park. Yeah.
So I agree, but then I just found out one of those places has like an indoor Nerf gun arena.
What?
Oh,
yeah. Alicia was just telling me this
What?
yesterday. One of the places in the mall, which has like an indoor Nerf gun battle arena.
What?
Yeah.
I just want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go.
Yeah, I just fucking do that anyway. Damn. Man, maybe the mall is coming around.
That's one of those things, like, that's a fucking genius idea.
Genius idea.
I know.
That is.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's like laser tag, but with Nerf guns. That's great.
Yeah.
Way more fun.
And
Yeah.
You're only marginally less likely to injure your retina.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have to wear goggles.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think having games is fun, but I don't want to exert too much energy on my Christmas.
Well, that's
party.
why you need to be able to do both. You can't go to a place where you have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, we did a ping pong one, and nobody played ping pong.
Yeah.
Like, that's too much work.
Well, like that's why pins is good because like you can do anything or you can do nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you need a holiday party,
I was gonna say, I was like, it's like, oh, maybe we'll do it this year. Yeah.
All right, that's last call.
Word.
For new listeners, this is where we go around and get to plug whatever we want. We're gonna start with Dan Mahoney.
This year, make sure you're not such a ho. That's all I got. I got pee.
And I'm out.
Okay.
All right. Well, make sure this year you're not such of a Grinch. Because I feel like everybody is around me is being so fucking Grinchy. Even my dog's been an asshole lately.
If they weren't Grinches, we would probably be less happy.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I like seeing other people in misery, so.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what that's about. Shit, I thought I would have something.
Right? Well, because everything that we have going on is going to be coming up soon.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say there's still time for you to get your Inebriart hoodie or T-shirt for your Inebriart fan and your Bar Talk pint glass. This is totally not well prepared. And your Bar Talk shot glass. You can go to inebriart.com and find all our merch there. And yes, our website is in dire need of an update, but you can still purchase stuff through there or just shoot us an email at
Christmas presents.
bartalkcast@gmail.com for your Christmas presents and for your hate mail and whatnot. You can follow us on all social media at bartalkcast, and happy fucking holidays and shit.
Happy fucking holidays, you filthy animals.
You bitches.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/inebriart to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at inebriart or at inebriart6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebriart, and all the other shows on the Inebriart Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.